so far about the ground game? What, 7, 8 days through camp so far?
I think those guys are being real consistent. We've been preaching every day about job security as ball security. You know, that's one of the biggest things. We try to be consistent every day about that. And I think they've really been improving on their protection, you know, trying to keep the quarterback upright. I think that's one of the biggest things we have to improve with the guys we have back there.
Coach, you put a real emphasis on keeping the ball up high. Can you talk about why that's important?
I think that's the most important thing. Just like I said, that's job security. You know, once we give those guys the ball in their hand, they hold everybody jobs in their hand. They have to understand the importance of that. So we wanted to keep them high and tight at all times. So, you know, it has to be second nature to us at all times. And they're doing a good job of coaching each other up.
Coaching, you know, years ago, that wasn't the point of emphasis, you know, holding the ball up high. When did that change in football?
Well, I think it's been a must for us at all times. It's just a culture that we have, you know, with our team. And with the guys who have the ball in their hand, that's job security. You know, that's a must when you look at the stats and turnovers and different things like that. That's wins. You have to make sure you have ball security.
When you brought in Rodney, did you guys have a feel that he would be as productive as he is early?
Yes, when he was at the elite camp, he was the second most explosive player, had the most explosive movements. He's really smart. He understands what he wants to do. He wants to be great. He came in a room, he fit our culture, but he's a really smart kid that understands the little things. And he does everything full speed, you know, and he loves to be coached hard. And that's one thing about us. We're going to coach our kids hard to try to get them better every day.
I know you guys are high on Trey when you brought him in, high on him in the spring. Are you guys a little bit surprised at how he's kind of stepped in and taken the role he has?
I don't think we're so surprised. I think he's surprised about how his body's responding. I think Slick's done a marvelous job with him, getting him ready. We're being smart with him, making sure that he's healthy and going through this kind of injury-free at this point. But he's doing a good job picking up the offense. He's really smart. And he's fitting out with the group of guys and our team.
Going back to Rodney, you mentioned, I think, before camp that he put on a decent amount of weight. I guess how much has that helped him in making this transition to the college level?
I think Coach Storm did a great job with his body. He went from 175, he's up to 198 pounds right now, so he's stronger. And with that, he's building confidence. So that's kind of really helping him with pass protection and different things like that. So he understands, you know, with that strength, he stays in that weight room. And, you know, I've told him make sure he keep his shirt on.
I know you guys do your own evaluations and you don't care about star ratings and all that, but do you ever sit back and wonder, like, why aren't people seeing it? You know, with a guy like him that wasn't up on all the lists as high as some other running backs. Do you ever think about that?
I think the most important thing you have to do, you always have to trust your own evaluation. When you're going through this process, that's the most important thing, because you start getting caught up into who everybody else like, it's going to hurt you eventually. And that's, you know, that's my thing, is I always trust my own evaluation. I try not to get caught up into who everybody else think is good. Now, I do understand that everybody has their own evaluation, but at the end of the day, we have to find the best fit and what feels like family to us.
Trey mentioned that one thing he's working on this camp is to be able to catch and run at the same time. That's the thing that he's focusing on to make him better. What have you seen in that regard of his game?
I think he's picked up on that, and we push him every day on that. The guys in the room push him on that, making sure he can catch, quick tuck, and that's my biggest thing, CTR, catch, tuck, and run. And Trey Benson is doing a great job of that right now, making sure he catch and tuck. So he knows that's a big part of our offense. If he wants to be a part of it, he has to catch the ball out the backfield.
What kind of role does Trayshawn play in these guys acclimating so quickly and coming into the room and feeling comfortable?
Trayshawn has been doing an excellent job. He's been a leader in that room. He's been making sure those guys do the things they need to do. He understands the offense in and out. He accepted Trey Benson, which is really good in that room, and making sure he understands what's going on. Because it's going to take all of us. Everybody has their role to play, and it's our job to put them in the right position.
I know you guys do scrimmage situations in practice, but is it different when you go in there on a Saturday night and have a real scrimmage?
Yeah, it's definitely going. Whenever you can go in the stadium, it's always going to be different. We want those kids to have that feeling and understand how special it is to go in that stadium. Just not any day that you get a chance to play in that stadium. We want them to get that feel and understand how precious it is to be in that stadium with the guys who went before them. So it's going to be big tomorrow night.
What are you seeing from Lauren so far? What does he need to do, kind of hit the ground running during the season? How important is it to have 3 or 4 backs you choose?
I think LT has done a great job. He's playing with more confidence. He's another one put on another 15 pounds. He's at 190 pounds. Obviously, he's probably one of the most athletic guys that we have. We can split him out, put him at receiver in different places like that. But he has a great understanding of the offense at this point, and he's improved on his pass protection.
Coach Norvell earlier was speaking about the progress that Jarrian Travis has made, and one of the aspects he mentioned was run checks and getting you guys in a good position pre-play. What does that do for the running backs when the quarterback's able to kind of create those advantageous situations?
I think he's doing a great job of putting us in the right play. And you always want to make sure you're in the right play, have the right fit, and that, puts stress on the defense. And I think Trav's been doing a good job of that. And with the young running backs, sometimes he'll make sure they're lining up right. If they line up in the wrong spot, and he calms them down. So that's been a real calming effect for us.
How does the improved depth on the offensive line help what all the running backs can do, regardless of who they're taking reps with?
Well, that's the major part. I think Coach Atkins has done an excellent job improving the offensive line. Those young guys came in, hit the ground running, and I think that's probably one of the biggest improvements, seeing the offensive line. They're much bigger and stronger. They're moving people around. So it's a lot easier for the running backs now when you have wide open holes to run through. So, we're definitely thankful for that.
Pass protection is very important for the backs. What progress have you seen there?
Every day we work on that. Every day we're going to take some time to work on some form of protection. That's a must. These guys want to go to the next level, and I tell them all the time, if you really want to play on the next level, you have to keep the $1 million quarterback upright. So at the end of the day, everybody can run the ball. We can run through wide open holes that Atkins is going to provide, but you must keep Travis upright. And so that's one of the main things we want to do.
Is that one of the more difficult things as a coach, to get the younger guys to teach them?
Yeah, earlier when they come in, they just don't have a good understanding of it. But once you explain the importance of it, they buy into it. And I think our kids are doing a good job of that, kind of understanding the importance of it.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So I gotta get my gifts out.
Is that how you get it?
You just made me laugh. All right, I'm ready.
And about a year ago at this time, you couldn't really do anything.
Yes, sir.
How much are you enjoying this camp?
I'm enjoying it a lot. Like you said, last year was kind of rough for me. I almost thought about just giving up on this. Cause I couldn't really do much. I missed like 3-4 months of football. I couldn't run, couldn't sweat, couldn't do nothing. Had screws in my hands. So I'm enjoying this. It's a blessing to be able to be out and do what I like to do what I love to do. So I'm blessed.
How much do you think, you missed the preseason last year where it may have affected you kind of through the entire season?
I was playing catch up all year. Cause you go from 3 to 4 months of not doing nothing. Like I couldn't even sweat to, okay, you gotta play Notre Dame. Okay, so and they just threw me out there, so it was that's what that was. So I kind of played catch up all season, but then I started feeling good, and I went a long, good stretch, 3 or 4 games. I was playing good, and I hurt it again. So it was just like I just got down on myself, but I'm just happy to be where I am now, healthy, feeling good.
You mentioned almost assigned to hang it up and said this may not be. At what point in the process was that a consideration for you?
When I broke it, and I went to the doctor, and they just kind of told me what was going on. And they told me I was gonna have to sit and I couldn't sweat or do anything for a long time. And I was just like, this is supposed to be the season. Like I worked hard this whole time and this is supposed to be the season for me. Like I had a great spring that spring and I just thought this was gonna be the one. And I get hurt and I'm playing catch up all year. So it was just like, man, maybe I just need to sit it down. Cause it felt like I just kept getting hurt back to back to back to back and it just wouldn't nothing go right. So I would just give up.
How was this whole offseason for you? Were you able to? Was this whole offseason good?
It was big for me this whole offseason because during the season, last season after I broke it, it was hard for me to rehab and stuff because we were still practicing and playing games and stuff. It's like I had a real offseason to get bigger, faster, stronger, strengthen my hand and stuff like that. So the offseason has been big for me. Who shout out to Coach Storms?
You're clearly happy that you stuck it out, right? It seems pretty evident. Who is important in kind of helping you through that process to say, hey, maybe you can get through the other side of this and still?
I would say my mom and my girlfriend. They were big influences on that. Like they just told me stick it out. Like you got to go through something hard to get to the brighter side of it. So that just was my mindset through it. I just stayed strong and they kind of helped me through this.
When did they talk to you about maybe working at nickel too, and how's that going?
They brought up nickel to me, I would say like July-ish, June-ish, a little bit before camp. And they asked me how I would feel about it. Of course I said, yeah, I want to do it. So it's been good. I love nickel. Like I kind of play field corner and nickel, so I feel good about it.
What's been the biggest difference or biggest transition about occasionally playing nickel? Like what do you have to do differently from a skill set perspective?
I would just say at nickel, you just got to know more. Like you have to analyze the whole field just to make calls. So that's really the biggest thing. Nothing really technique-wise, nothing like that.
Coach Woodson mentioned how like guys like AZ and Kevin are really students of the game, really enjoy the film side of things. How does that help a unit when you have the young guys come in and that's not something you have to worry about? You know that they're in their film.
When you're an older guy, you try to get guys to watch film, and we try to have film sessions together. But when you got young guys that want to do that on their own, you ain't got to try to force them, nothing like that. That's always a plus. Like KP, Jarrian and Sam, like they've been great. Duke, Marco, like they've been great. Like they've been great additions. So like they doing what they do, and I'm happy that they're here.
See a lot of guys with FSU tattoos, maybe not as many with ACC tattoos on your shoulders. What's the importance of getting the ACC tattoo?
I mean, it's a long story behind these tattoos, because I got a picture on my chest of me in a Mississippi State jersey. So it's kind of like, okay, I have to get, like, the FSU. So that's kind of why I got the ACC and then the ACC on the sides. But yeah, I got this.
You had a big pick last year in the Norvell game.
Yes, sir.
So did that kind of get the spirit back to you?
Yes, sir. Okay, really, when we play, we played Syracuse the game before, and so I had a good game that game. So, and for me being hurt and me having a good game against them, it was like, okay, like you starting to feel it again, like you getting back to you. And then when we played UNC, it was like, and I made those plays, it was like, okay, you're back, like you're feeling good. And then I kind of banged it up again. So I was just in my head a lot, basically.
Is it tough? People see you out there and you're playing through an injury, but they may not know because it's just the hand and they're not thinking about all the lack of involvement that you're having with working out and whatnot. Is it tough to kind of hear the criticism or just know that you're not performing the way you want to for a reason maybe not everyone knows about it?
I see it. I definitely see it. But it don't really affect me as much as it affects like my parents, say. So like when they send me the stuff, I mean, I read everything and I just want them, whatever they said, I just want you to stay there. Like whatever you said, however you said it, just stay there. Now, when you see the flip side of it, don't act like you knew this the whole time.
Scrimmage on Saturday, how big are those moments in preseason camp to get out there and play that way?
It's big because you got some guys that have never played in dope or scrimmage or anything, and so they don't really get the experience or the feeling. So like it's gonna be big for them to get live reps, full speed reps, to tackle and stuff like that. So it's gonna be big.
Appreciate it.
Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy.
Hey, real quick,